Thanks for staying with us. News 9, it's 9:30 right now. I'm Robin Marsh.
I'm Lacey Lowry. Oklahomans making some big decisions yesterday during the primary runoff election.
Now, 3 of the races were for seats in the U.S. Congress. News 9's Washington Bureau Chief Alex Cameron joins us from Washington, D.C. with some insight on the results. Alex, good to have you here at the 9 o'clock show on News 9.
Robin, Lacey, always good to see you. Thanks for having me.
Well, one of the biggest races will be the Senate seat, Jim Inhofe. We're looking for a replacement, and we now know who it will be. Republican Mark Wayne Mullen won last night in the runoff. He will face Democrat Kendra Horn. They've served together when they were both in the House. Just your thoughts on that matchup this morning.
Well, it's going to be a difficult one for Kendra Horn to win, to repeat her result from 2018 when she upset Steve Russell in District 5. Oklahoma City certainly, at least at that time, was much more favorable for a Democrat. But at this point, statewide, she's got her work cut out for her. Mark Wayne Mullen has tremendous support. He's raised a lot of money, close to $4 million. He's also spent a lot of money. But so Kendra Horn really has got to be able to raise some more money to make the race competitive. But right now, this is viewed as basically a lock for Mullen for the Republicans. By those outsiders who look at these races. Obviously, that doesn't mean that Kendra Horn's going to give up. She's going to fight hard and get out there and campaign hard. But this is definitely Mark Wayne Mullen's race to win.
Campaigning hard, as you just said, raising more money is what Horn would have to do. As far as Mark Wayne Mullen, there's a lot of undecided voters out there for this race. How do those come into play?
Well, I don't know if they're enough to really make this, a really competitive race. But I think that they'll listen to the message and they'll see what happens over the next couple of months with the economy. For a lot of people, that's what this will come down to, is how well things are going, whether they perceive that the country is moving in the right direction. Kendra Horn is certainly not a super liberal Democrat. She was a blue dog Democrat when she served in Congress for 2 years. So she's apt to come out and be critical of certain policies of the Biden administration, but that still may not be enough for a lot of those undecideds, and certainly for Oklahoma's conservative base. They're going to definitely be wanting to see a change and hopefully see the Senate come under the rule of the Republicans again.
Let me ask you about the other Senate race. James Langford, the incumbent, we now know will face Democrat Madison Horn, who won a runoff last night. What about that matchup?
Well, I think that Madison Horn has even a tougher shot. I was just checking, the Federal Election Commission's website, and she's raised just a little over $100,000, and that's just really hard to compete. And the Democratic National Committee is going to look at that race and see it as essentially a lock for James Langford. So I don't know how much help she's going to get. And, Langford has been generally pretty well liked. He did face a primary, but he didn't have to go to a runoff. He's got a lot of support. He's pretty well liked in D.C. So that's going to be a really tough one. He's in a pretty safe spot, I'd say.
25 seconds left, Alex. The other big race is to replace Mark Wayne Mullen in the House. Where do things stand in the 2nd Congressional District?
Well, Avery Fricks, or Josh Burkeen, rather, won that runoff. And, Josh Burkeen worked for Tom Coburn back in the day. 2nd District has, at one time, was very Democratic, elected Brad Carson, Dan Boren, but now very, very heavily conservative, supported President Trump more than any of the other congressional districts. So that definitely is Josh Burkeen's race to win.
All right, Alex Cameron, good insight from our nation's capital. Thanks so much. I know we'll be hearing from you throughout the rest of this campaign season. Thanks.
Thanks, Alex.
Thank you.
Good to see you.